Well, good morning. I'm Pastor Les Chemist. Welcome to Cruisin' a Narrow Road. What a view. What a gorgeous day for a ride. We're sitting here above the town of Clarenville, just up on the highway, getting ready to go for a little run. Not going for a long run today, just going to ride around town. I want to talk to you today about, well, I really want to ask you a question. I want to ask you this question. What kind of rider are you? Let's go ride. What kind of rider are you? Are you a rider that frequents this place? The Canadian institution? Tim Hortons? Some riders, they get a bike. They get a nice bike. They spend beaucoup dollars on them. Big dollars. And put the missus on the back or go by themselves. And they go off to Tim Hortons. And they go sit down and have coffee with their friends, stand around in their leather, and just go and drink coffee. They're in it for the social aspect more than the riding. Or it seems so, because every time you see certain bikes, they're at Tim Hortons. You don't see them anywhere on the road. You don't see them very much around anywhere else, but you see them at Tim Hortons. I am not a Tim Hortons rider. That's not to say I never stop at a Tim Hortons, because I have. I've stood around and talked to the boys during a ride, after a ride, gone to Tim Hortons, grabbed myself a cup of tea, or coffee or whatever, and stood around and talked to other riders. Good way to gain information, all that kind of stuff. But the people the Tim Hortons that I've stopped at is not necessarily the one here in town. When I get on a bike, I want to go for a ride. I'm not here to I don't own a motorcycle to socialize. Okay. I have my friends and I'm happy with my friends. I'm always willing to gain more, and I do gain other rider friends. I've talked to many people. I'll talk to anybody along the way, but I don't buy a bike. I never bought a bike, never got a bike with the intention of riding it to Tim Hortons to sit around and chat. I got a motorcycle to ride. I am a motorcycle rider, and I love riding. I love spending all day in the saddle. I love going for short hauls. My wife Rebecca and I like to just take little runs around town or short runs in the evening, just to get out of the house and go for a quick run somewhere. But Spence and I have done some big miles. We've done day rides. We'll go, the Backloo Trail, the Gander Bay Loop, the Burin Peninsula. We've done all kinds of these runs, and we enjoy riding. I enjoy riding. I have a motorcycle to ride, not to sit around. But there are others who buy bikes. There are others who buy bikes more for the social aspect. Some, they get a bike and they want to join a riding group, a touring group. There are others who tend to be more on the troubled side, shall we say, who seek the company of the 1% crowd, the biker, what we call in the civilian world, a biker gang, an MC, the 1%ers. We tend to, some people tend to gravitate to that, and they often are troubled people who have a troubled past of some sort. Many are fatherless and are looking for acceptance and looking for honor, looking for respect, and they turn to these organizations that promise them that, but actually lead them down a very dark road, into all kinds of trouble. Many who have been in the 1% groups tend to have been in jail, tend to get into drugs and drug addictions, and they're into running prostitution rings and all kinds of things that end up, you know, wicked stuff that leads them, takes them down a very dark road and doesn't help them at all. Then you have other riders who fit more in my category, who are older. Now, I'm not retired, and I'm not sure I will ever retire. A buddy of mine asked me when I was going to retire, what my retirement plans were. I said, I'm on the toes up retirement plan. When they carry me out of the church toes up, then I'm then I'm done. But many people have the luxury of retiring, and many older gentlemen retire and have always dreamed of owning a nice big touring bike and buy themselves a Goldwing. Some buy themselves the big, you know, some other big type of touring bike, whether it be Indian, Harley, Kawasaki, Yamaha, some of the big touring baggers. And they get these bikes and they go start crunching long distance miles. They just start crunching the miles off, going all kinds of long distance, and hats off to them. They're I appreciate the dedication of the Goldwing rider, the tourer. I could get into that myself. The C50 is not a great tourer for long distance, you know, big miles, but hey, we did it last year. You can do it, but it's not necessarily the best for it, especially 2-up. But as I proved there in the other video, 2-up is not necessarily a problem either. And we will do that. We will go, you know, longer distances. I expect more than one overnight trip. We've already done one overnight trip to our cabin, which is not an extreme distance, but I appreciate the tourer who's willing to put in a long time in the saddle, have the dedication, and enjoy motorcycling. Then you've got just the cruisers, the day cruisers, those who just get a bike to ride around the city, ride around town, and you know, they're just a hobbyist. They enjoy it, and they're somewhere in the middle of the road. They're not crunching the big miles necessarily, and they're not sitting at Tim Hortons. They're just a hobbyist, and that's perfectly fine and wonderful. Then you have the adventure riders, of which I dabble in a little bit. I'm not full-blown adventure rider. The V-Strom sort of defines me as an adventure rider. It's definitely tarmac biased. It's biased for the road. It can only handle light off-road, and that's where I fit at my age, and the way the bones creak now. I'm not into pounding hard miles in the backcountry with an off-road bike, but the V-Strom actually defines me as in that level of adventure riding mostly tarmac, but being more than happy to go up a dirt road, a gravel road, and see what's up there. But there's the adventure riding crowd, and that's probably the fastest growing crowd of riders these days. It's probably the biggest, and like I say, the fastest growing segment of motorcycling is the adventure crowd. Everybody's gotten into producing adventure bikes. Even Harley Davidson left the air-cooled market and put out the Pan America, which, just for the record, I'm not generally a Harley fan, but the Pan America is a nice bike. I don't mind that bike at all. Got some features I really like about it. The Pan America Special especially has the has the feature where when you pull up to a stop sign, it lowers itself by about an inch or so. And for shorter riders like myself, that's something that's a good thing. Then there's the crowd that are into sport bikes, and I appreciate the sport bike riders. I owned a Ninja at one point, sort of a midlife crisis bike, I suppose. I was probably about 40 odd years old. Sport bike riding is definitely a challenging sport to get into. I appreciate the skill and ability of those who put the time in to learn, not just the squid who gets out and wrecks, you know, flattens the throttle first day out and ends up in the trees. I don't have a lot of respect for those type of riders. They are immature, and they're the ones who end up killing themselves or killing somebody else with their reckless behavior. But that's only one segment of the sport group. I appreciate those guys and girls, I should say, who get into sport bike riding and actually go and learn and get involved in track days and stuff like that. And they learn how to ride, and they learn how to ride effectively, and they don't take their skills, their racing skills to the street. They keep it on the track where it belongs. And it's a dangerous sport no matter what you're doing. You're on two wheels, and it's just a more dangerous sport. But I don't appreciate those who lack respect for other people and for themselves, and just are just showing off, trying to be something they're not. Take the time, put the time in to learn. Don't just claim you're something. Actually go and learn it. And those who have to brag about how good they are usually aren't very good. They're trying to make themselves believe it as much as other people, but people see through that kind of garbage. So there's sport bike riders, there are adventure riders, there are touring bikes, there's casual cruising bikes, and then there's the Tim Hortons crowd who like the idea of riding a bike or having a bike, but don't actually ride much. And you know what? That's up to them. Not mine to really judge, I suppose. Some of them may not be able to ride that much anymore, and just a little run to a Tim Hortons, to a donut shop, is all they can do. I got no problem with that. I bought a bike to ride, and that's what I understand. That's what I know, and I like putting on the big miles. So what kind of rider are you? All riders are welcome on this channel. I don't care who you are. There are people that follow things connected with cruising the narrow road, like my Instagram page, who are more in the motorcycle club crowd. What we tag as the leather and tattoo and chain bikers. There are people who follow my Instagram page who are that, and are all welcome. I got no problem with that. I got one friend who is in a 1% gang, motorcycle club. Not my choice, not what I would do. Not sure that's the best choice for his life, but I'm not his judge either. God is, and he'll have to deal with that before God, not me. But My goal is with this channel is not to judge and not to condemn other riders. We're all in this sport together. We all enjoy it in whatever level. And sometimes I make a few jokes about some riders. I mean no disrespect. I enjoy riding. I just enjoy all types of riding. Listen, we go along, and I was laughing with Rebecca the other day. We were on a little ride, and a person on a scooter drove by, a little 50cc scooter. And I waved to him just like I waved to any other motorcyclist. Do I like scooters? No, I really don't. But God bless them. It's a cheap means of transportation. There's nothing wrong with them. And I watched a video last evening of a well-known motovlogger, YouTuber, does a lot with sport bike racing and all. And he was rebuilding the motor, putting the new plugs and stuff in his 50cc scooter. I think it was a Yamaha Zuma or something like that. To each his own. It's not my cup of tea, but who am I to criticize and condemn? I might make fun. I might have fun. But then again, they make fun of the C50, so, and I don't care. You know, I made a video about the guy who called this a girl's bike, but all I could do was laugh. It was so hilarious that he thought it was a girl's bike. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the video today. Answer in the comments, what kind of rider are you? What do you like? What don't you like? And tell me what kind of riding you do, what kind of bike you have. I hope you've enjoyed the video today. I hope you've enjoyed the little ride around Clarenville. I gotta get home. It is hot out here, but I hope you've enjoyed the video today, and may God bless you and have a great day.